Hey, this is Learning Again with Truly Jacob, our writer. Again, you probably won't see my face because this is my writing media pen name. So we're going over big thoughts for little people, ABCs to help you grow. Does this help you learn how to talk properly? No, because there's no audio. Does it teach moral lessons? It depends on what you value as a moral lesson. Um, does it teach a balance, wholesome moral lessons to kids? No, because there is this balance of learning to love yourself, learning to love other people, and what do you do if other people don't love you? You know, so it does teach kids treat other people with kindness and respect, but it doesn't tell you what to do if no one treats you personally with kindness and respect. So last time we did the letter W, and it ended with all of the earth shall worship you and sing of your glories. Psalm 66:4. Okay, so they reference the Living Bible, and it's paraphrased. What does this version say? Is it exact? Okay, Psalm 66, verse 4. Okay, all the earth shall worship you and sing of your glories. Yeah, this one says the same. Sorry, it took a second. Okay, so now we're on the letter X. Yay, we're getting near the end. Okay, X is for the xylophone. Use it to play happy songs about Jesus throughout each new day. Look at all the musical instruments in the picture. Can you find the xylophones? Have you ever played a xylophone? It makes pretty music, but it sounds very different from a piano or a violin. Do you think God likes to hear children play an xylophone? I think he does. God likes music. He especially likes it when we play or sing songs about him. He wants us to tell him how much we love him. Have you ever played an xylophone? A kid's version. What other instruments are children playing? Okay, that bear's playing the drum, the trumpet. The kids aren't playing the piano, but it's adults playing the piano. That is probably a guitar. That looks like the tangerine. And then there's I forget what those things are called, but it's like shakers. And that boy's playing a flute. So, yeah, it's all over the place. So what's coming up is the people who call themselves my parents. At one point, there were 2 pianos in the home that we moved into. They kept one for years and years and years and years. And then when they decided to get rid of it, that's when they decided, hey, you're going to have piano lessons. And it's like, well, why are you having me have piano lessons after you got rid of the piano? That doesn't make logical sense to me, but that's what they decided to do, is get rid of the piano that had 88 keys on it and then make me take piano lessons later. I asked for a keyboard with 88 keys, and they give me a little keyboard that's only good for playing with really one hand at a time. And so I was like, well, and I knew instinctively that keyboard would only last me 6 months. And then as soon as I could no longer practice at home, at all, because I didn't want to use up all my recess time to practice the piano at school, because I went to a Christian school at the time. I was like, well, I want to be able to play and do other things and not work when all the other kids her students are playing too. So then I was like, okay, let's give up the piano. So then my senior year of high school, for some reason, I take piano again. But this time it's my choice. They tried to get me to do it as a freshman, or ninth grade, and I just couldn't do it. Again, this Christian denomination, and it's like, couldn't learn it. I could only really play on one hand. Now, why is that? Basically, the music notes are wrong because what I remember about piano, I tried to relearn it again. Basically, what happens is this thing called, okay, you have the note C on the line and in between the line for notes. And it's like, okay, that doesn't really work because you can't quickly read the music. But that's how they decided to make it so you had to read. Well, I can't read that quick if the note for two different C's, the letter C's for a music note, is on the line and in between the lines. So to me, it makes more sense that you create a music system and you're labeling each note, like if there's different C's that match up, and be like, okay, you label this is C1, this is C2, this is C3. You label all the notes, and you pick something, and then it's like, like that's what you want to see, right? Is the actual letter or the number, right? So that way you'd be like, I know what this is. So I realized, maybe about 2 years now, or a year, that I have to change the whole music system up to even be able to learn how to play, because the music reading system doesn't work for me because I can't do it. Because I literally had a music teacher that when we played these like chimes, they were kind of like a bell system, but it was like chimes. It was different. Well, she highlighted the note and told you what note to play, and then she directed you, and it's like, okay, you got the timing down of like, okay, now you play this note. And it sounded really cool, and it was cool playing these different notes as a team. It's like musical instruments that you play as a group. Very fun, and like a part of me wanted to do that in high school, but it was like the teacher was like, you have to be able to read notes to be able to play. No, I'm not willing to highlight this for you. No, you cannot join the bell choir. No, no, no. So it was like I got excluded because I didn't know how to read music. But then coming back at it as an adult, why am I having trouble reading music? Oh, that's right. Because whoever designed this musical way of reading, they decided to put the same letter for a similar note. It's not exactly the same note, but they're like, there is a low pitch for the C, then there's a middle range for the C, and then there's like a high pitch for the same note of the C. They decided to put it on the line and in between the lines. And it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to just automatically get that quick and understand what note it is. If you want me to read it, that means I have to play really slow, and it's going to take a lot of seconds to figure that out. So I could never read the music because the way the reading music is done is wrong. So, and it was like these people who claim to be my teachers, it's like, why are you teaching me everything wrong? So it is what it is. And so, yes, I would have loved to be able to play different musical instruments. I did pick up guitar. Guitar was the longest one that I was able to play, but the strings seem wrong to me because they would get into the skin and leave a print, and then it's like it would cause problems and uh, for the career I chose as a trade school, it didn't go with the trade school. It like hindered you from being able to do your job. So I had to give up playing guitar, but guitar was like the best, and I only got like decent, and the strings were really holding me back because like they were so hard to press. And so I was like, something's wrong with the guitar, something's like, I don't know what's going on with all the musical instruments, and even the way they demanded that you be able to read the music was wrong. So it was like, well, I can never get good at playing anything, couldn't get good at my profession, couldn't get good at art because it's like you needed more practice. And people wanted me to be able to, like, oh, here's a object, I want you to draw this object and be able to move around. It was when it went to being in a stationary picture, like if I tried to draw this um from a picture or whatever, then I'd have a better, easier time learning how to draw if I was copying a picture, and that is still like a challenge. Like something's wrong with that too. So I was even having problems learning how to draw, problems learning how to read, comprehend everything, do math, science. Every subject there's something wrong about it, and everyone's like, you're fine, you learned everything properly. It's a result of sin, nothing's perfect. It's like, okay, so in heaven, am I gonna learn how to talk properly? And everyone's like, in a twinkling of an eye, all of a sudden, you're going to be changed, and you're going to automatically, be able to speak properly, and you didn't have to learn anything at all. And I'm not sure that's how it works. I thought that was the whole point of getting an education, was you get a higher level of an education that leads you closer to the heaven path, and you may actually have to learn more things in heaven too. But like everyone's attitude around me is like, if you get to heaven, you don't learn anything at all. So that would mean, oh my gosh, I'm gonna stay in this position of speaking everything wrong, all the letters, all the pronunciation. Like, that doesn't sound like a very loving heaven to me, that I can't learn to talk properly at the very least, you know? So I don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, I did play like the kids' toy version. Like, I wasn't in band, I wasn't everything. Like, school was so hard for me. I barely got through it. The teachers didn't actually really grade anything of mine, and they gave me an A for effort. Like, oh, you've been diligent, so we're just going to give you an A. But we don't want to give you a 4.0 to make it so you can get better college scholarships. So that goes to other people. So it doesn't matter. Like when I did take college classes, it didn't really teach me anything. It didn't teach me how to be successful in life. And so everyone's demanding, oh, you should be able to be successful, you should be able to do this, and just nothing's going right. And then I thought I would get on disabilities and mental health disabilities and physical disabilities for health. And then it's like I find out like food stamps doesn't even go through because the government doesn't even know how to send you a pin to so you can use your food stamp card. So it didn't even seem legit because it didn't go through the a postal mailing service anyways. So it's like, I think all of society is just like, we don't care about you at all. We don't care about you learning how to do anything right or correct. We don't care that making sure that paperwork and everything goes through. We don't care that whether you can do anything for yourself or be able to live on your own or not, you know? And then you have parents claiming like, we don't want you to live with us. But it's like, well, I was living by myself when I had my own business and things were going okay. And then it's like a whole bunch of evil individuals cursed me to come back and move in with the people who claim to be my parents. And then now those people are like, we want you out of our house again. And I'm just like, where am I? Where are they? Are we in the same dimension? Are we in the same reality? Because if I'm in a different reality than everyone, why can't everyone just like go to their reality, stay out of mine, so that way I can fend for myself? And that's why I keep coming back to, I would have been better off with like servant robots or robots that are programmed to teach me properly, because they would be programmed to actually speak all the letters of the alphabet properly, whatever letters I have. Um, and, because people don't want to take the time to teach me how to do anything properly or even talk properly. So it's like, whatever. So, I guess the moral of the story is, be careful who you allow to raise you. If for some reason you lose your memory in full, because my first memory is of losing my memory. So make a joyful sympathy before the Lord the King. Psalm 98:6. Okay, well, this isn't really a moral lesson to me. It's about, the one, it could be an illustration of or a representative figure, Jesus, of the ones who always existed. Do you make music for them? Maybe they make music for you. I don't know. Like, I don't really get a moral lesson out of this, except if you add the thing of make sure you have teachers that teach you how to read music properly and sing properly and do things properly, and you need the proper musical instruments that work properly in order to play good music. So but they're not really going into that. They're just like, it's important that you sing and play music to Jesus. We do this for Jesus. We do this for the ones who always existed, to honor them. Okay, well, that's not a bad moral lesson, but is Jesus really the name of the ones who always existed? So, until there's evidence and proof of their existence and that this is something that they want you to do for them, like, I don't know, if you get to know them, do sometimes they play musical instruments? Do sometimes you play musical instruments with them? What is their standard for playing music and singing? Uh, do they have certain rules about music? Are there certain stuff you're not allowed to play? Or are there different speeds? Are they okay with different speeds of music? Does music sound differently based on what language or what language section you have? And then if you're speaking wrong, is the music quality at a very bad level for me right now, because I speak wrong and I don't talk properly. So, like, I have tons of questions and no one's willing to tell me the truth and answer any of my questions. So, do you play any musical instruments? Have you built any musical instruments? I don't even know how to build a musical instrument myself right now, because I lost my memory if I ever was able to do it. I have no memory of knowing how to build a musical instrument or create a musical instrument myself. So, but that doesn't mean I can't like learn how to play a musical instrument if I'm given the proper instructions on how to do so. And then there is a flute that I've seen online, and there's like a bigger hole and then there's a small hole in there, and I'm like, why would you put two holes in a flute and mess up the sound? Or like, why do you need two holes within a like and press down with one finger? Like, I just don't understand what's going on. Like, why would someone add a hole in like when you're pressing over a hole to make a musical sound? It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not sure what's going on. So I think I really live in a cursed environment where everything is cursed. The clothes, the musical instruments, um uh and even how to learn how to play a musical instrument at this level, reading the sounds of the letters, um, different equipment. Things break down way too much. The food is cursed because like it made me gain weight, and it made me look really bad and ugly. So like I live in a cursed environment. It's super negative, super toxic, and even the governmental system doesn't work. If you work for someone else, they don't pay you a legitimate wage to pay all the basic expenses of life. So it's like no matter what I do, like even my like having a family, people coming in claiming to be my parents, it seems like all my relationships are cursed, you know, because like no one wants a real genuine relationship with me. So um, and then today, the person who claimed to be my father, he's crying. I just want my daughter back. I don't think I'm ever going to get my daughter back. And all I could do was say, well, unless Jesus takes away all my pain and suffering, and it's like in my head, that means teaches me properly how to speak, the proper words, the proper definition of the words, how to play musical instruments, how to do fun things, and takes away all my pain and sorrow and this super negative, toxic environment that I live in, you ain't gonna get me back because, I've had enough. So that's what I said this time. But, will it register with this person? Or are they going to continue to cry, I want my daughter back. I want my daughter back. But my perspective is you never had your daughter because you never got to know your daughter. You never invested in time of getting to know your daughter, or even invested in figuring out how to help your daughter develop her natural gifts and talents. So, as far as I'm concerned, he never got to know his daughter from the beginning, if he even is my real father, because my first memory is like, this is it. Then I hear this name audibly in my head or outside of my head, and it started with the letter A. That letter, it started with the letter A, and then, like, technically before I heard my name, it was like something changed in my body, and I was like, I'm losing my memory. And then I heard the name with the letter A, and then I was like, oh, okay, this is the name I'm supposed to hear. The next thing I know, I hear a different name. So my first memory is losing my memory, and then people were coming in and claiming that they were my mommy and my daddy, or my father and my mother, or my mom and my dad, and um and then they gave me a birth certificate, and then the birth certificate was able to be burned. And so it's like, if you're hearing the truth and you're like, well, do legal binding paperwork for realities or dimensions? Can you design that paperwork not to burn or not be able to be destroyed? Well, if the paperwork is able to get destroyed, then, oh, the birth certificate wasn't legit. It was a fake birth certificate, you know? So it's like, well, you get that thought and you're like, I hope it's true. I have no proof because right now I have no legal binding paperwork. But society as a whole is a collapsing. Like the educational system that I went through, I'm like, oh, it doesn't actually say I was educated in the United States of America. And then my high school was like, oh, yeah, you were in a certain state getting an education. It's like, it doesn't even say that you were educated in the state. It just says the state's name without saying that it's an actual state. And you're just like, oh, my word. I didn't actually legally get educated in the United States of America. Oh, boy. So am I actually in the United States of America? People just said I was in the United States of America. You look at your social security card, it doesn't say the social security card or the number is for the United States of America. And then your driver's license, it says USA, but USA could be an abbreviation for something else because I grew up with USA standing for like for another name for a high school, a boarding high school, Christian boarding high school. So it's like, what? Like, do I legitimately have any paperwork that says I actually lived in the United States of America? No. And then when I had the fake birth certificate before it got burned, it it didn't say I ever lived in the United States of America. It didn't say I was born in the United States of America. It said I was born in the state of New Jersey. And I was just like, you have no proof that I was actually born in the United States at all. And so it's like maybe legal binding paperwork for different realities or dimensions. It can't burn, it can't be destroyed because all the paperwork that I'm receiving, it doesn't go together. It's not working. So, like, I think I'm in a dimension or a different reality than everyone else, but I don't know because it's like, well, I don't have any reality or dimension papers that tell me this is where you are, this is where everyone else is. And it's like you're trying to tell the truth, tell people the truth. Hey, what's going on? And people are like, you're fine. And it's like, no, I'm not. Like, why are you telling me misinformation? Like, I'm having a horrible time. I don't know what's going on in the reality or the dimension that you're in. I talk differently. I swear they must be using some kind of translator that speaks for me accurately for me, and because they probably wouldn't know what I was saying at all, and that's the reason why we're able to communicate somewhat at all. And so, but they refuse to acknowledge that they have a translator and I don't see a translator. Yeah, so it's like, okay, how are we communicating? Because, you know, people to my face, they say they want to help me, but then they don't have any paperwork that goes through or works properly to actually help me. And literally, I thought I was going to get food stamps for a higher number. And then it was like the paperwork that came actually gave it a lower number. And then it didn't go through the actual governmental postage system, and it didn't get stamped that it went through the postage system. And then it didn't come with a pin to be able to activate the card or use the card at all. And so you're like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on. So, what are the real letters to an alphabet? What are their proper sounds? How do you communicate with other people if people refuse to communicate with you? And I have done my best to speak blessings over everyone, and I still feel like I'm getting attacked with negativity because, like, uh, I get like shooting pains in my right upper arm now, and my feet still hurt. My body still has aches and pains. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I'm still trying to make the best of my situation. Um, uh, Still trying to do what I can to be positive. But it's like, well, it's very annoying when you live in this toxic, negative environment and literally nothing works. The people who call themselves your family, you don't have real relationships with them. The same with teachers, same with the people who call themselves your friends. You don't have real relationships with them. So it's like the relationship aspect of, you know, have getting to know someone, it's completely broken for me. I don't get to know anyone for real. And then people are like, we're gonna go to heaven and it's gonna be so wonderful. Well, there's this aspect of I'm completely alone here, and I have not figured out how to find like-minded people who want a real relationship with me and want to bond and connect, you know, and get to know me. You know, like, why would I like heaven? You know, if that's how heaven is, where, you know, people haven't worked to build a friendship at a acquaintance level, a friendship level, or a best friend level. If I have like zero friends in heaven, like, people are gonna say that's heaven. You don't know me in heaven, you know, like, I don't know you in heaven. What a wonderful idea of like heaven, right? So, musical instruments on this level are, for me, they don't work properly. Everything doesn't work properly. I'm not even sure if I went to heaven, heaven would be this wonderful, super positive environment for me. If I by chance was able to be saved again and make it to heaven, like, would it be positive, or would people like continue to ignore me and be like, oh, hi, so nice to see you, bye, you know, like, I thought like the way people described heaven to me is you're gonna have a connection, a bond, everyone's gonna care about each other, everyone's gonna genuinely love each other. And it's like, well, no one genuinely really cares and loves me in this negative environment. And I thought like-minded people were supposed to like gravitate to each other. And then you make it to heaven. And it's like, well, I guess you know, people said this is what they want heaven to be like, but they don't actually want to do make the investment to have me join in and be able to participate and make a connection and bond with them. So it's like they care about making that connection bond with other people, but no one really cares about making that connection and bond with me. Now, maybe there are other individuals that I don't know about that do, but for some reason we're separated, and until maybe the positive environment levels up to become better and better and better, I won't be able to mingle with them. But all these other individuals are like, oh yeah, I care about you. I want to be your friend. It's like they didn't care about making the connection and bond at the friend level of a relationship. So I was like, how are we friends? How are we friends? So I hope everyone has a positive, wonderful relationships with the people that they claim to know and the people that claim to know them. I hope you truly, really know each other, but I don't think anyone truly knows me. And paperwork, legal binding paperwork and stuff, it seems like it's starting to collapse because like I never got a PIN to be able to use a food stamp card. So be careful, people out there. I did get a call one time from a scammer. They said I had to prove my identity to them. And they wanted money from me. So like there's this idea going in my head, did someone claim my name as their own? And that's why none of the paperwork or anything is going through. Is there identity theft really going on? Am I experiencing identity theft on a massive level and no one's telling me the truth? Is that why I'm in such a super negative environment? That could be what's going on. But I have no proof at this moment. But I do believe that the truth will set you free. And at some time, maybe if I really am in a different dimension or reality, eventually I'm going to have to get reality or dimension papers that tell me exactly what's going on. Because you can't go on and on forever not being told the truth, because, if you're wanting to evolve up to a positive environment, you have to level up to more and more and more truth. So far, it's conceptually, I'm starting to understand, oh yeah, there's this breakdown in my environment. It's super toxic. There's negativity all around me. People are nice to your face or nicer to your face. Don't raise your voice ever at the people who claim to be your parents. Just let them believe whatever they want. Let them say whatever they want for the most part, because like that's what they want. So I don't know what's going on, but they want the power and control. So I have to let them have that power and control over me, because it's important to them to be the ones that have the power and control, which I thought heaven was about not having power and control and allowing Jesus or God to be the ones that have dominion. So I'm like really confused why I'm not able to make different decisions for myself or whatever. Anyways, let's see how many ladybugs are in these pictures. Okay, one. Okay, it seems like there's just one on that page. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm getting 6. How many ladybugs did you get? And feel free to comment in the comment section below, but please be respectful. This is my personal experience. This is about the environment that I truly live in. I hope you live in a better environment. So, hope you liked this video. I was raw, I was real, I was being genuine. If you want to comment, feel free to comment. Until next time.